Hey guys, welcome back. This is Samara from CoachingConsciousCreators.com. Today I have a really special video for you guys that is super close to my heart. I want to talk to you guys about the absolute best manifester I have ever personally known. And that person is my own father. So before I started getting into understanding the mechanisms behind manifestation and how reprogramming the subconscious mind works and all of that, I kind of took the way that my dad operates for granted. I didn't realize that he was implementing the very techniques that I'm learning, and he was able to completely transform his life using certain manifestation techniques, and as a result, he significantly impacted my life. And I believe that part of the reason why I'm open to all of this is because I was exposed to the way that he was able to just move forward on faith and do things that were seemingly impossible and create the life that he wanted no matter what the odds were. So what I'm going to do is tell you some stories about things that he did and how, and then I'll talk about the themes that kind of run through there that I'm learning are the keys to manifestation. So my father grew up dirt poor. I'm talking about eating out of the dumpster poor. I'm talking about angels had to intervene and strangers had to bring him food and coffee. He drank coffee as a kid because it filled his stomach, and he had a neighbor that would make coffee every day and share it with him and his identical twin brother. My dad was raised by a single mom. He did not know his father, and he had to fend for himself at a very, very, very young age. So much so that when he was 14 or 15 years old, his mother put him and his brother out on the street to fend for themselves. So my father did not finish high school. So this is where the fun starts, right? He didn't finish high school. He had an identical twin. My understanding is that if you had a sibling, especially a sibling that was part of the draft, both of you could not enter the military at the same time. So my father, at age 18, after being out of school for 3 years, not graduating from high school, was able to gain entry into the Army, along with his identical twin brother. I don't know the details behind how that worked, but I know that it wasn't supposed to happen. So, second, when he was discharged from the Army, I think he was only in for like maybe 3 or 4 years, and he served in Vietnam. He was able to use his GI benefits to go to college. He didn't finish high school, but he went to college for free, and he finished in 3 years with an accounting degree. I think at some point he maybe got his GED, but I don't know. All I know is that it is almost impossible that he met all of the necessary requirements to enter into college, and he was able to graduate with a degree in accounting in 3 years without ever finishing high school. My father was determined. He's always been a man who likes nice things. He likes comfort. He has very exquisite taste. And he just has always decided that things were going to be a certain way for him. Like, he's never carried himself like a person who had to do without. Ever. He's never been one to hold his head down and say that something isn't possible. So he went to college, graduated with his degree in accounting, moved to Houston, and met my mother and married her. That was his second marriage. He had a first marriage while he was still in Louisiana, I believe, in college. But he met my mom and married her. He moved us to an upper middle class neighborhood. Now, my father is the worst with money, probably because he didn't have an example, but he's the best with manifesting. So even though he has no financial skills, like he can't save money to save his own life, he's always, if he sees something that he wants, it's just gonna happen. And everybody around him is like, and I didn't realize this until I looked, as an adult, I've had these experiences and I know what they're like. And so for him to do some of the things that he did against all odds is pretty amazing. My father started several businesses. He just decided, okay, I don't want to do this thing anymore. For example, he quit accounting. He said, I don't want to sit in an office anymore. I don't care that I have this family to support. I'm gonna go take a job out here at the power plant. So he worked at the local power plant for years until he retired. But in the midst of all of that, he also started several businesses that were way ahead of their time. He started a lawn care business when I was little, and he hired family members to work for him. He had never run a business. He had no business skills. He barely had accounting skills, even though he got his degree in accounting. But he started a successful lawn care business that he ran for a while. He decided to build a patio on our house with no previous experience. My dad he just in his mind is like, I want something. He sees it in his mind and he just executes no matter what. Like, it never occurs to him that it's not possible. So he, by himself, built an entire patio on the back of our house with not one other soul helping him. He decided he wanted to build a basketball court in the back of our house. He rented a cement truck. And he did get help this time from one of my uncles, and he built us a bumpy basketball court in the back of our house. Just, there's so many things that he did, and the point I'm making here is that he went from eating out of dumpsters to living an upper middle class life. And we hear stories like this all the time. We hear stories about rags to riches and about people who had difficult childhoods who grow up to be super successful. But the point I'm illustrating here is that I was close enough to my dad to see why and how that happens. Because when you look at his siblings, the rest of his family, on his side and on my mom's side, they are all still pretty much living either at or below the poverty line. Their lives look a lot like they did ever since they were children. My father, and at first I said, okay, on both sides, my father did really well, and he has some siblings who also did really well, but they had the same attitude, but not most of them. And my mother's side is the same. Like, people were doing all right, but my mother and father did exceptionally well for the backgrounds they came from. And I used to think it was both of them, but I really think my father influenced my mother as well, because after they split, things kind of shifted, and I could see the difference in their lifestyles. And my father, although he's hit some pretty heavy bumps in the road because he still struggles with some of those childhood issues and some of those limiting beliefs, he is still able to execute on his visions like nobody's business. And it's because he just, Joseph Ally, one of my favorite YouTubers, talks about ignoring reality, and so do several other YouTubers. But my dad just ignores reality, and he just does whatever it takes to achieve his visions. And he has probably a 95% success rate. That 5% where he experiences failure, I've never seen him fold. You know what I mean? Like, he may get discouraged temporarily, but his bounce back is like nobody's I've ever seen. Like, I look at him like, wow, Dad, you just keeping on. Like, he doesn't let failure affect him at all. And when he's faced with the next vision, the next thing he wants to manifest, it's like a clean slate. It's like, I'm doing this. I want to do this, and I'm going to do it. And I watch how that affects how things play out for him. And so even to this day, right now, he's manifesting a house that he wants. And all the numbers and all the circumstances said it shouldn't be possible. But he is like, no, it's happening, and he's had to take some detours, and he's had to come up with some backup plans, but he's demonstrating his faith, as he always does, by preparing. Like, for the house, he already bought the refrigerator and the what else was it, the washer and dryer, even though it hasn't closed yet, and even though there's all these obstacles. And for me, it's an important lesson. Like, his demeanor hasn't changed, his mood hasn't changed, he hasn't become overly frustrated with the bumps in the process. In his mind, it's just going to happen. And so as I sit here as an adult, looking back on my father's life and how his choices impacted me and set a standard for me, because the fact that my father lifted himself up out of poverty, that even though he wasn't perfect, he was determined, and he always believed that he could achieve anything. I didn't understand how much that was shaping me and the way that I approach life. Like, to me, And my dad never had these conversations with me. He never had to give me pep talks about believing in myself. I think I just watched every little decision that he made, even though I wasn't consciously aware of it, and I adopted the same attitude. So I'm saying all this to say that's how it happens. That's how rags to riches happens. People have dogged belief in their own ability to achieve whatever they want. That is how I'm currently transforming my own life. And when we do that, we can have a butterfly effect on the people around us. Like in my case, my father created a high standard of living for me, and now it's automatic for me. Subconsciously, I'll never fall below that because it was programmed into me. And he programmed a lifestyle into me that he didn't have himself. And it's really difficult to do that, to jump from one to the other. And now I'm trying to jump from the standard of living that he created for me to a much higher one so that I can do the same thing for my own children. But when we are dogged in our belief, when we are determined, when we don't waver, when we exercise these principles of manifestation by ignoring reality and allowing our imagination to guide us, we not only change our own lives, but we impact the people around us. We inspire. They watch us and they pick up on these things, and we expand for the whole consciousness what is possible. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope that these examples of what is possible are helping you to expand your belief and to understand that even when we run into seemingly insurmountable obstacles, anything is possible if we hold on. And sometimes we don't get exactly what we thought we would get, but we get that or something better if we believe that the universe is able to provide that for us. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications when I make new videos. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thanks for watching.